We begin by importing the essential Flutter material package to enable the creation of our custom widget. This widget, named SendButtonWidget, extends the stateless widget class. In the constructor, we declare a final variable named controller of type TextEditingController, which will be used to control the text input. The constructor receives this controller as a required parameter. Moving on to the build method, we override it as part of the stateless widget. Inside the build method, we utilize a gesture detector to handle both long press and tap events. For the long press events, we have callbacks for both the start and end phases, where you can implement specific actions. Similarly, we have a callback for the tap event, where you can handle the tap action accordingly. The core of our widget is encapsulated within a container that is circular in shape, adorned with a background color. The color is derived from the primary color of the current theme, with a slight opacity to enhance the visual appeal. Within this container, we find an icon button that dynamically adjusts its icon based on the content of the associated text controller. If the text is empty, it displays a microphone icon, otherwise, it shows a send icon. The color of the icon is set to white. The custom widget we're creating is called FrontWidget, extending the stateless widget class. In the constructor, we declare final variables to receive three essential parameters: a text editing controller for text input control, a scroll controller for managing scrolling behavior, and a callback function named onChanged. Moving to the build method, we override it as part of the stateless widget. Within this method, we construct a row widget, encompassing three main elements: an emoji button, a text input field wrapped in a scroll bar, and an attachment button. The emoji button is represented by an icon button with a callback to show a toast message when pressed. Similarly, the attachment button, also represented by an icon button, triggers a toast message when pressed. The central element of our widget is the expanded text field wrapped in a scroll bar. The text field is configured with a provided controller, setting minimum and maximum lines for flexibility. It responds to taps with a callback function. The visual appearance is customized using input decoration, specifying content padding, border style, and a hint text of message. Additionally, the onChanged callback is invoked when the text in the field changes. Beginning with the necessary imports, we bring in the Flutter material package and the Flutter Toast package to enable our widget development. The widget we're crafting is called BackWidget, extending the stateless widget class. In the constructor, we declare a final variable named TextEditingController of type TextEditingController. This controller will be used to manage the text input. Moving to the build method, we override it as part of the stateless widget. Within this method, we employ a positioned widget to fill the entire screen and align the content at the bottom center. This aligned content consists of a row widget containing several elements. First is an emoji button, represented by an icon button, with a callback to show a toast message when pressed. Next is an expanded text field with a transparent text color and no border. It allows multi-line input and is configured to be maximally expanded within the row. The hint text color is also set to transparent, and the border is removed for a seamless appearance. Following the text field is an attachment button, triggering a toast message when pressed. Lastly, a camera button is conditionally added to the row. It's only visible when the text input is empty. Similar to the other buttons, it shows a toast message when pressed. Starting with the necessary imports, we bring in the Flutter material package and custom widgets specific to our chat input scenario: BackWidget, FrontWidget, and SendButtonWidget. These widgets contribute to the construction of our primary widget, ChatInputWidget, which is a stateful widget. Within ChatInputWidget, we create the state class, _ChatInputWidgetState, managing the state for the widget. This state class includes a text editing controller for text input control and a scroll controller for handling scrolling interactions. Moving on to the build method, we override it as part of the stateful widget. The primary structure is wrapped in a padding widget, providing spacing around the chat input area. The main component is a stack widget, layering various elements on top of each other. A primary row contains an expanded card, representing the chat input area with rounded corners and a background color derived from the theme. Within this card, we utilize the back widget for the back side of the chat input and the front widget for the front side. The front widget receives the necessary controllers and a callback function to trigger a rebuild when the text changes. Additionally, an invisible icon button with a transparent send icon is included in the row, preparing for future functionality. Finally, another row is positioned at the bottom, containing a spacer to push the send button widget to the right. The send button widget itself is responsible for sending messages and receives the text controller. Starting with the necessary imports, we bring in the Flutter material package and a custom widget specific to our chat page, chat input widget. The primary focus is on the creation of a stateful widget named chat page. Within this widget, we also create the state class _chatPageState, responsible for managing the state of chat page. Moving on to the build method, we override it as part of the stateful widget. The primary structure is encapsulated within a scaffold widget, providing the overall structure for the page. At the top of the page, we have an app bar containing a title, set to WhatsApp, coded with Flutter. This serves as the header for our chat page. The body of the page is a column widget, aligning its children at the bottom. The sole child within this column is the chat input widget, contributing to the user interface for inputting messages.